Blackburn Township, March 15th, council meeting.
That's what we're checking.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 7:05 PM. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Express Times and Star Gazette, satisfying the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act. If we could please stand for a solemn prayer and flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're going to take a brief executive session for 15 minutes for contractual with the fire department. Could I have a motion to go into executive session for contractual with the fire department? Yeah. I'll second that.
Okay.
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Anne Yes. Vangelis absent and Kern.
Yes. All right, 15 minutes, and let's go. Yep. Got it.
Okay, I move we go back to regular session.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Okay, action will be taken on executive session with payment of bills for the fire company's items. So could I have a motion to pay the bills?
I move we pay bills, I think they're all signed.
I'll second that. Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Van
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Public comment pertaining to agenda items. Is there any public comment on agenda items?
Judith Forbes, 66 Creek Road. I understand there's no ordinance readings tonight.
No.
Okay. Is there anything, any new business that's going to be raised that's not on the agenda by any of the members of council?
Potentially under new business, I don't know.
Mrs. Gray, Mrs. Forbes, the only thing we're going to add as a motion is to accept Ingrid Gray's resignation from the Economic Development Advisory Commission and appoint Michael Zombis to her unexpired
Yes.
term, which will run
Thank
from
you.
December 31st to 17th.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the peddler's permit for 4 people of Power Home Remodeling. Again, are they going to be like leaving notes in on your door to call for an appointment, or you might expect them to come to your door knocking?
I'm not sure, probably come to your door knocking.
Probably not. That's what they did last time. They were actually out early, and we rooted them out because they didn't have their permit yet. But they were knocking on doors.
They've been knocking on doors. But if you tell them you're not interested, they'll leave? And if they don't, then we should call the police? Okay. Why are we getting another computer system website, since we just recently got one? Motion to approve and authorize Phoenix Advisors. Is that a website?
Yeah, I'll bring it up under my report.
Okay, well, I might have questions once you say your report, and I
There's
won't
another
be-
public comment, you'll be able to,
at the end, but
Yep.
you'll be voting on your motion tonight before I get the other commenting, right?
yeah, continue to make your comment, and then, it's public comment, not public question, so,
Oh, I
Yeah.
see, I see. Okay, and what is, well, comment and questions, if you don't know what's on the agenda, it's hard to make a comment what the agenda means. What exactly is the South Warren Municipal Alliance, and what will Ms. Rossetti be doing as the fiscal lead?
We discussed this last meeting. South Warren Municipal Alliance is for the DARE program, for the funding for the DARE program, and different municipalities in South Warren have hosted it, Greenwich, Lopat, and now Pohat's going to be hosting it. So it's wherever the individual wants to house the money, and the individual wanted to house it in Pohat. She lives in Pohat, who runs the program.
I see. So she'll just be paying the bills?
Yep.
More or less. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is any other public comment on agenda items? Seeing none. Wanda, do we have the bid openings?
Yes, we do. We had, two bidders, packets two, went on the same visit, we got one.
Same one. Okay, this bid is for from Total Lawn Care, Somerset, New Jersey. Do they have the total at the end, Wanda? Or is it the,
I didn't input it.
no, how would you, yeah.
There is, it is somewhere, like a total bid, and then I put something, is divided for each one.
There we go. All right, the lump sum of the bid is $12,500. That includes Huntington 1, 2, Crestwood, Finesville, O'Leary, Warren Glen, Alpha Lawn Annex, and the municipal building property. What's O'Leary one?
That's a little tiny part of Sussex.
Oh, yes, okay, gotcha. Okay. So that's the bid, this would be pending the...
Yeah. I'm sure they did it right this then.
Yeah, it's what, 4 or 5 years? So do we need a motion to accept that bid?
Yeah.
We
Okay.
will, but money-wise, is it okay with our budget?
It's less than last.
It's, yeah, I think it is. So is there a motion for that?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Yes.
Slack, Dan Lewis, and Mayor Kern.
Yes. Okay, that passes. The attorney, his daughter is at a spelling bee contest, so I guess she's still going on, so I guess that means she's doing good. Did Gwen say she wasn't coming tonight, Wanda?
She told me she sent you an email. I thought she wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't.
Unless you needed her, because she said she really didn't have anything to report.
She may have sent me an email, but I didn't check my computer all day because I was on the road, so.
Yeah, she said she was sending the mayor an email because she told me she didn't really have anything to report.
I mean, I didn't, I mean, this is a discussion for council, whether or not we want her to come, if she doesn't have to report anything. The only issue is if a resident has a concern, there's not an engineer here, so,
Or even if a council person has a question,
yeah, I mean, I would,
although normally.
What does
it's
she
down.
charge per meeting?
$225?
She's been coming to just one meeting a month.
Yeah, she hasn't been here yet.
And I was gonna say, she was at the first meeting this month. So I
She comes to the second meetings.
Yeah, but she hasn't been to any of the meetings this year.
No, she's had some issues.
Nothing on the agenda, I suppose, to save the money.
I haven't heard the residents ask any questions of an engineer yet.
So you want to keep it as is, and if we need her? I didn't want to,
I'd do it as
as need basis, okay. Everyone cool?
I'm okay with that.
Cool with that? Mary, you cool with that? Okay, cool.
If we have some engineering project coming along.
Then we'll bring her.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, well, that takes care of that. We can move on to township council reports, and we'll start with, Steve.
Okay. So the DPW, in the last, couple of weeks, crack sealing, on various roadways, Maple Avenue, Shackletown Road. They ran a sewer cleaning machine and a sewer line on Franklin Street. They had the entire Alpha Annex sewer system treated for, tree root control on the sewer mains, which, as an aside, was pretty interesting. They fill it up with this, herbicide, which is like looks like big soap suds. It fills the entire sewer up, with soap suds. Kind of looks like Isle of Lucy or something. And that kills all the roots in the sewers. We got estimates to replace the parking lot in front of the DPW garage, which we discussed later when we do our budget stuff. They started rolling the play areas at each township park. They completed the 2015 stormwater management plan. They serviced the infield machine, and they had the rain spouts on the garage put up if the snow took off. They put some extra hangers and such to hopefully prevent it from happening again. That's it.
I have a question. With the, I'm thinking you might be the right person on it. We got a total as far as gallons per day that Alpha dumped into our system.
Right.
Now what do we do with that?
It was $700 some, I think.
Yeah, I calculated how much it cost.
Yeah, it was $735 or something like that.
Okay, because I only saw the total of the gallonage, so do we send them a bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the last meeting.
Okay, I guess I was just.
All right.
All right. Or maybe that's something I left early.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Dave?
Okay, Mayor, I'll start with the police department for the month. The department responded to 348 calls for service. They issued 87 traffic summonses and made 13 arrests. They opened 20 new criminal cases. They investigated 33 motor vehicle crashes. Is that a little bit high, Chief, or is that about normal? Okay. The officers are in the process of recertifying in the use of the ALCO test machine. The ALCO test machine determines the person's blood alcohol content during a drunk driving arrest. Certifications are being completed by the New Jersey State Police breath test unit. They also updated and added another staging area in the township in case of an incident in the southern end of the township. The plans have been updated with the Warren County Prosecutor's Office and the County LEAP Coordinator. The department had their yearly CJIS audit. The audit was completed by the New Jersey State Police. The department was found to be in compliance with all policy and procedure. In conjunction with the Huntington Fire Department, the department will host their annual Easter egg hunt. The hunt will take place this Saturday, March 19th, 2016, at the Cohacon School. The event starts at 10 a.m. There will be candy, chocolate bunnies, and prizes. The Easter Bunny is also supposed to be in attendance. The event is for children between the ages of 1 and 10. I know I will be there with my 2 little ones. That's all for the police department. I was not at the last environmental commission meeting, which was last Monday. I was out of town. I defer to Dr. Hernandez, maybe if he would just briefly give us a summary of what went on.
Complaint sent to the Environmental Commission by a town resident concerning dumping of railroad ties on the bank of the Delaware. This is the second time this issue has been raised. The motion was past for the matter of council. And I specifically had a question for the attorney, whether the railroad and the Delaware River were under federal jurisdiction for the matter to be referred to the EPA. Because the DEP does not have jurisdiction over the Delaware River. That's what I get this right.
Okay, did you reach out to Kevin or not?
No, I didn't know it was open.
Did we get a letter? Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all I have, Mayor, other than we took care of the fire department issues.
Gary?
Okay, I basically have no report. I do know Mr. Mason, I think is just about done with seeing different people and interviewing people. Sal was like one of his last people to get to, and he's been trying to get hold of him and hasn't been able to, so, when that's done. And then as far as the environmental,
Economic.
I just drove home from Virginia today, I'm kind of like, oh.
Well, actually, I spoke with Ingrid earlier, so if you would like
I
to
was just
give
going to
her...
say, if somebody there would like to give the report, that would be great.
Yes, and Jay Prompts would be here if he didn't have prior commitment to tell you about that. Jay and myself have been attending county EDAC meetings, which is very extremely illuminating because there are programs that Cohasset can take advantage of that would help our economic climate here, involving business, but also agricultural business in this township. The first thing that I'd like to have council aware of is that their Wanderings, Warren Wanderings website is up and running. And Alba Vineyard and Villa Milagro have taken advantage of that, but we'd like to be able to get it out there to any businesses, organizations in the township that they can get advertising on this tourism website. People subscribe to it, they can see what events are coming up by the week, by the month, and they can attend those things. So if we have any township events or interesting things going on that will draw tourism to the township and help our businesses, we can post them. I have instructions from the Public Information Office from Warren County on how to do that. I'd like to know if we can make that available somehow on our website so that people know this opportunity is there to get a kind of advertising out there. The second thing is National Geographic is doing a survey on the Delaware River. It's called the Scenic Wild Delaware River Geotourism Program, and they're filming the upper and middle Delaware River region. And this is open to the public, to townships, to people to submit nominations of interesting things that would help promote travel to that region. So Cohasset has an opportunity to become part of this, and I have a handout that I can leave with you if you want to get, maybe if you want me to write something up to put on your What's Happening page.
Yeah.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, that'd be very good.
The next thing that we learned at this county level meeting is a really cool project called Food Hub that Corey Tierney is in the process of pursuing grants for. Food Hub's, it's very interesting. There's a national website called National Good Food Network, and they are sort of the national administrator of Food Hub programs, and there are hundreds across the country. If you go to this National Good Food Network, they have a map that show areas. And what it is you can have a consortium of 5 farmers or 400 farmers that grow things, raise crops, raise animals, grow flowers, make honey, syrup, whatever. And this is a way for the local farmers to get their products to the market rather than being stuck or not having a good market or having too much for a farm stand and not enough traffic. So this Food Hub program that is going to be pursued by the county sounds like a really good thing. So we're going to keep tabs on that and keep advised. But one thing that they are looking for, Corey is looking for, is for local farmers to fill out a letter of support trying to get this grant. So we'd like to get this information out to farmers in the region so they can fill one of these out and send it up to Corey so he can include that in his proposal.
Who are they applying to for the grant?
This is National Good Food Network.
Oh, that's who they're, okay. Because I know the Highlands Council also funds grants for agricultural activities.
Maybe they're doing that too.
Ingrid, the County Board of Ag sent a letter, is in the process. We backed up what Dave Corey was looking for. I have the letter signed now, I have to turn it in, but the County Board of Ag,
Probably the same form, right?
well, we've made our own up. Kenesha Reynolds, our ag agent up at Rutgers, up in Belvedere, drew the letter up. I have to sign it as the county president and then turn it in. But Kenesha's very, very good on that same stuff. She's very active
Yeah, I spoke.
in seeking out farmers to, retail and use their products.
Yeah, she sent me this.
Okay, yeah, she's a real good girl.
She'd like to get more letters.
Yep.
Great. Then the next project that they're working on that we could take advantage of is this interesting concept called Farm Art Detour. Did you,
We went over that too at our meeting also. It was pretty interesting to look at what they do around with art in the backdrop of farms. It was pretty neat.
yeah, if you go to the website for Wisconsin, it looks really quite amazing, but I'd like for HACCOM not to be overlooked when they're doing their map because according to Kenesha, the people from Wisconsin are coming out, they're gonna be driving around the county looking at potential sites to locate in this farm art detour. And it seems like everything, from my experience in going to these county meetings, is very North Warren oriented and like the lines Pittsburgh. So we're gonna try to.
Bob Fry and I both sit on that board. We represent this portion of the county, so they know we're here at least.
Okay. All right. Is this something that you and Bob are interested in at all?
I don't have that much road frontage, so I don't know so much for myself, but Bob's got, a significant portion. I could say something to him.
Yeah. How about other farmers in that?
I don't know. I'd have to put a feeler out. I'm sure there might be some.
We'll look into it, definitely, and if there is, we could send a letter asking.
It draws in tourism and helps local business. I'm excited after my conversation with you about the website upgrade so that we can get the report and business map and other things I talked about. So, thank you for that.
Thank you. Do you have anything else? Okay. To follow up with the economic
We
development,
have to accept those.
yeah, it's going to be on the motions, yep.
It's on the motions, okay.
It will be.
Ingrid, I do have a question. Okay, so you're going to resign from, economic.
She's going to stay
advisory.
secretary.
That's the
Yep.
question.
Yeah, I want to make room for Roseanne. He's a wonderful resource. He came to our meeting and he's great.
Yeah, that's Clinton Scott, right?
Clinton Station,
Oh,
yeah.
Station, yeah.
So Mike Zombas will be going on to the Economic Development Commission. I think Ingrid successfully recruited him to come on the board, and he's going to bring a great deal of business experience, and he's a resident, and Ingrid's not really resigning, she's just switching positions so that we
Well,
can
she's
get
holding two
yeah,
positions.
so that we can get an extra person on there, so that's great. As alluded to earlier, thanks to Wanda and Wendy, we were able to identify a company that manages our municipal websites for us, as opposed to individual employees posting information on the website. This company will also handle our social media as well. So during emergencies and things like that, we'll have a contact person that will be able to update the site instead of an employee or whomever else wise to handle it. And also, it'll make the website mobile friendly as well, which I think we found that our site does not do very successfully. So in the event that there is ever an emergency, our site would be useless for folks who are on their phones. So it's not so much as a complete rehaul as an upgrade to what is there to make it, I think, more successful and user-friendly. And the real key that Wendy was able to find out that if the technology changes, they're going to be there and continue to provide the service to us. So as things change, we're going to be with a company that we're not going to have to completely jump to another
And
place.
where are they located?
Well, so the gentleman is a former councilman from Belleville, and he no longer holds office, but he's a tech guy, and he's actually been going out to towns, and I think he's picking up them all over the state. He just did Raritan, and I think he was Flemington, and then Washington
In
Township.
other words, so it will be somebody who can actually communicate.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken over the state as far as municipal websites. And then also, he'll help comply with Oprah requests too for online stuff. So that's another added value. And the thing we did notice was that once we redid our site, it was up to us to maintain it. Now there'll be someone to maintain it for us, so we don't have to kind of dig through the weeds on it. So that's what that website is. Another quick note, Phillipsburg EMS has a new chief. It's now John Dagan. He has come to our meetings before, but I believe he was just elected a couple nights ago, so they got a new chief.
Is that replacing
Mr.? So he's the president. I thought so too. He's the president. Lee's still going to be the president, but
They're like the fire company.
yeah, they have like
Fine
a
officers,
and then
they
a
have.
president and a chief. And
Okay, so we have a new chief.
yeah, the prior chief's name escapes me, but it's
Was it Russ Taylor?
Oakley.
Hoagland.
He was like captain or something. Yeah.
All right, then you're
Well,
right.
You're getting all the names except the one we need. And then the last thing is, Sal and I are in the process of getting a tour up at the high school with the other towns. There's an issue that it's state-owned property, so Phillipsburg can't even go up there and take a look at it whenever they want. There has to be all this security with the state and clearance to let people on. I don't even think Shando's allowed to go check on the job unless he gets clearance, so since it's a state-funded project, but
That's weird.
yeah, it's like going to Roswell, New Mexico. I mean, you can't get in there, so we're working on doing that too, so that should be, and when that's opening, so it should be definitely neat to
You
see
have a
that.
meeting with
That's
us,
this Thursday,
But didn't you have a meeting with us? superintendent?
this Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been forever in the making. So that is all that I have. Kevin Benbrook's on his way too. His daughter did not win, so he just finished out. So we will, I guess, now continue on to the budget discussion where we left off. Lorraine, do you want to?
We've had a couple of different proposals recently. The first had championed by the mayor that had a less than 2 cent increase with looked out to be a 1.79% increase. Then Councilman Slack had expressed the need to heed what Councilman Rubitsky had wanted was an additional capital funding. And he had offered something between what Mr. Rubitsky had brought up at the last council meeting. And that increase was higher than what the mayor had suggested, but not quite as high as Mr. Rubitsky was looking for. But now he has some newfound information regarding additional fees that hadn't necessarily considered in its entirety before.
Yeah, I can discuss that, and we have to come to some kind of consensus on this, and the attorney would help us out greatly, because since he's not here. Is he actually on the?
Yeah, yeah, he is.
The first issue I have is with the parking lot in front of the DPW garage. As we all know, it's pretty torn up, it's falling apart. There's a lot of places where you could trip. Now, I believe, and Wanda, maybe you could help, that we were written up by the insurance company as to the condition. So I presume if someone falls there, the insurance company, and sues us, the insurance company might not cover us. Is that correct, or can only Kevin can answer that?
I think only Kevin can answer that.
Yeah, so with that in mind, I think we really need to do something with it. So Don has gotten a couple estimates, which are fairly staggering. The one problem with paving it, it's obviously all downhill towards the building, and there's no drainage, so the water runs into the building. We pave it, it's just gonna run faster into the building even more than it does now. However, the cost of milling and paving the parking lot without doing any drainage is like $77,000, I think, right, Tom? Is that the number? I got everything here. But it's in the $70,000 range. The proposal for the drainage in front of the garage doors to take the water away, which is the saw cut it, dig it down, put grates there, and put a concrete box all the way across in front of the doors is another $60-some thousand. So we're talking like $130,000-some to do that entire parking lot.
That's ludicrous.
You know, that's what the proposal is. That's what the proposal is.
Yeah, but where did that proposal come from?
ABE paving.
Tear the whole parking lot out for less than $70,000.
I'm telling you the proposal.
Ourselves.
Yeah, what the proposal is. So what we need to do is I think, at this point in time, is at least mill it and pave it. No matter who paves it, whether the town paves it or and we get somebody in to mill it. But I don't know those are the only numbers I was supplied with. I don't know what we need to really spend there, but we have to do something there.
Connie, is there any way we can do this job ourselves with our paver box if we had outside help? Like we did with the alleyways up in town?
Do it correctly? No. I think you're just going to make a bigger problem in front of a building. You don't put that green.
No, I'm not against the drain, Don. I understand that wholeheartedly, the trench drain. I'm just saying as far as the site work and the paving and the excavating. I mean, 70,000 to mill that area, that's crazy. I mean, we can dig it out ourselves.
Well, that's mill and pave, the whole
Right.
thing, but yeah.
Start over.
Well, you're going to have to acquire ABE to do the mill.
What's to stop us just from tearing the blacktop out? Backhoeing the whole lot right out? I mean, that's what I'm getting at. The mill, I understand that, but at that kind of money, it would be cheaper just to start over, I would think.
Well, without that concrete pad, you're going to have the same problem you have now.
Right, I understand that. Bring concrete out 10 feet, put the trench drain in the concrete, okay, but that's not something we can't do concrete either?
I don't know.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, Steve, and I'm not against it.
Yeah, I understand
But
too,
it's
yeah.
just,
But don't we have other companies or other people who do that kind of work other than ABE, especially for a parking
The
area?
problem is the time period from the last meeting to now, we was only the only company we got here, we were able to get here in a short
Yeah,
period of time.
that many, you'd have to actually put that out to bid.
You know, yeah.
Yeah,
There would
well,
have to
I'm
be
just
different.
thinking of people who do paving and so forth, and I'm not talking about Walt either, he's retiring. But, but that, you know, they might be able to do that job. It's not like it's a road or anything, it's a parking lot.
Right.
And they're putting the drainage in it, which is things that have been done. That I'm thinking that you might be able to get another contractor to do that.
was there any specs put
They
out?
know how to do the cement,
All I have
the
is
concrete
estimates.
work,
For
and they know how to
example,
do
this is
the other
the
things.
estimate.
Because 70,000 plus another 60 whatever, that's really crazy. That's roads.
I guess this is the cement pad with the, and here's another one. They're all in the $60,000 range.
Excavate,
Yeah.
stone, 8 inches at 3,500, concrete, 61,000 just for the pad. I did
Yeah.
my whole barn for less.
Yeah, and here, I mean, here's another one, it's a little different, that one's the cheapest, $49,000 to do, that's just the drainage part of it. The other one is, and that's milling and paving the whole thing, that's what they came up with.
I said, I'm not against
All
it, but
sorts
yeah.
of things that they did.
separate parts of it.
Different
Yeah, but
types.
it's not really broken down real well. The,
I know.
what I would do is at least, I know what Donnie's saying about the drainage and all that, but mill it and pave it. And maybe we could get some estimates from a couple others, but I don't know how that's gonna,
But that might add on.
well, no, I don't think, I mean, the $77,000, it could be high. I think we should, if we could earmark 50 grand or something for that parking lot, that should at least cover. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Couldn't it be done, milled and paved for?
I would be more in favor of doing it the other way. I would say put the drainage in and deal with the water issue in front of the doors first. And then I know the
I'm
city-
more worried about the safety
I
of the parking
understand that.
lot.
Patch that part way or whatever this year to clear up the safety issues, but address the drainage first. And then next year, address the whole lot, whatever we decide to do. with it.
Very worst, it just could be milled to level it out. and leave it
Right,
milled.
right, right.
I should have known that I'm gonna trip in the parking lot.
Knock yourself out.
Well, I mean,
Want
the
you to
thing
move
is,
it out of town.
we have so many more people using the building now with the additional.
That's the
floor.
problem, yeah.
And all it's gonna take is somebody that's here on a traffic ticket that's a little sore or whatever, stumble and fall, and the next thing you know, we'll be, dealing with another lawsuit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I hear you, I mean, obviously, the obvious way is to put the drainage in before you do the parking lot, but the parking lot looks really bad, and that's what concerns me.
Yeah, but the thing is though, I think the water issue is probably a part of the problem. So if you get that taken care of,
Well, no, because the water issue is at the end at the parking lot.
it floods though.
Yeah, but it's, that's not what's made the parking lot go bad.
No, but we're getting into the rainy season, that's, April showers. So I just thought that drainage would be more important right
I think doing the parking lot's more important personally, because that's where you're gonna trip, you're not gonna trip over. a
Puddle.
drain. You're gonna, if you walk down the middle of the parking lot where that patch is, there's a step like that right in the middle of the parking lot.
Donnie, any idea how thick that pavement is out on that lot?
Yeah, it's been patched out.
If we go in there and mill down the rough areas, we're liable to hit stone or dirt.
If they go, right, like a lot of the roads in town.
Concrete,
I saw that, that's from where the fence used to be, correct?
Make a long story short, if we use all the money that Lorraine found, if we had all the money, it would be spent on this, and nothing would be left for the roads, to patch any roads, potholes, chipping oil, or anything else. 'Cause she found about $135,000 without doing anything with the taxes. But all I would do is cover it would cover the drainage and the repaving and everything else, or there might be some left over. And that leaves us nothing for anything else.
So that'd be the whole road budget
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, on that one thing.
now. Well, I think we need to pursue a lesser amount.
But that doesn't negate at least earmarking it,
Yeah, but then again, the other part of it is so, then no roads get taken care of.
That's, we have to have, we have to have money for the roads. And we need more than 50 grand for the roads. What we really need is to fix that parking lot and still have 150 for the roads.
Lorraine, what did we have left over from last year that we didn't spend?
It's either 22 or 24 for locating.
Correct.
It's either 22 or 24.
And I had proposed to put, another 30 onto it with my,
Right, adding 1%,
That's all in capital, that's outside of 2% capital.
so that would give us
130-some thousand.
130 some plus. And even if we put 50,000 aside for the parking lot, that would add, a penny and a half, give or take?
Jeff's got a question. Jeff, you had some?
Is there any way you can use money that you have for wing walls, for anything that we can do outside?
That was a grant.
That's a
wasn't
grant,
it?
yeah, it can't be touched.
I would love to, Jeff, because the parking lot to me seems like a more suiting need, but. So if that was the case, what was my increase, Lorraine? It was 2.6 or?
This was midway, I think, Steve was.
I don't remember at all what that worked out to.
We
but-
were about halfway, we weren't quite double all at, so he was around up at 2 cents per unit. A lot of the suggestions that Steve had made actually didn't look like to get an overall decrease.
Didn't work out, did it?
Each penny that you add is, say, around 35,000, so if you add another 2 cents, in, that would be another 70,000 plus, so 3%.
What would that do with the cap? I mean, is that beyond it?
It's like, it's where I'm from.
Yeah. And then we'd have the time to really research this, get some more estimates, and figure out what we're gonna do, instead of just using this one.
I would not use that one.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I think sometimes these companies, when we use them a lot for projects, they kind of think we're like a cash cow.
Bottom was fit.
Mhm.
I mean, just the concrete work alone, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
No concrete's expensive, and I know 10 guys that come to do it.
Yeah. No, this was in the time period we had. And I
Yeah, you
pushed
only
them-
had 2 weeks,
I
yeah.
pushed them to get somebody here to give us some sort of, whatever, and this is what we have, but if we appropriate something like the Lorraine says, we can then sit back on this and get a half a dozen other people in here to submit bids. Kevin, my question, this all started from, and you weren't here yet. Wanda says we've been written up by the insurance company several times on that parking lot. To me, that sounds like if someone comes in to pay, like Dave says, to pay a traffic ticket and they fall and they hurt themselves, the insurance company might not pay a claim. Is that correct? If they've told us for 2 or 3 years, we have to repay that parking lot and do
Well,
something
it's
with it?
strictly the DPW side, though. The other side where the court.
No, we
That's
understand that.
right.
That's what only thing we're
I was
talking
just
about
checking.
is that.
What would happen if we designated that employees only?
Or employee can still sue.
Oh, that's what it's doing.
Yeah.
Employees are subject to workers' comp, they can't sue.
Yeah.
But,
Right,
in
right.
terms of, I haven't seen the write-up, Steve, but generally speaking, they're precautionary or suggestive for.
Yeah, but after 2 or 3 years in a row?
Yeah, I mean, at some point,
They probably would get off us, though. if it
at
was
some
bad.
point, they'll either tell you, fix it, or we're not gonna insure you. So if they
Yeah.
still issue the policy, I think you'd have coverage, but you can't let it go on forever,
No.
for sure.
That's my only concern is that,
Right.
we're trying to save some money here, but if someone sues us for $1 million, we have to take it out of our pocket. How about bonding? What if we, that doesn't
Bond
matter. I
for it?
mean, we're only, yeah.
I mean, you could, I guess you could get
It's
some bonds.
such a small
It's
amount.
a small
It's a
amount.
small amount.
Although we do have a good, if we need to bond for something that's not a large
Yeah.
thing, we do have a good, what do you call it, that we can do it.
And the only other suggestion,
We can do enough.
Yeah.
the only other.
But it is a small amount that I think we can cover.
The only other suggestion I throw out there, and again, it's, all the guys' equipment and things, we usually allocate a piece of most of what they do, as I recall, to the sewer budget.
Mhm.
So if the sewer utility has some type of a surplus, I think you could utilize a percentage of that job, because they have driveways to access to all the equipment, some of which they.
I don't want to
use
take
for
too
sewer.
much out of that
Yeah, that's
because
what-
that's what we
That's
talked
a
about, we addressed earlier.
phenomenal
We have a root
stretch.
problem, And a lot of our sewer sections are really old, terracotta.
I mean, that-
They're like 8 foot
Right.
lengths or something,
That would be a stretch, but I think I think you could allocate some of the sewer if there is a surplus and you wanted to do that. But that's the only other place in the budget I can think of or something like that. I mean, we've bought equipment before, allocate a little bit, 25% to the sewer, because the guys, use it every time they have to go over and.
Well, that's the next thing too, we really need to address the dump truck.
That's another thing, I think, if they're going to use a dump truck, of course, in the normal course of some sewer, you could do that type of allocation. You've done that in the past.
At this point, in time,
Bonding-
we need to have some money for road repair, overlays, et cetera, and we need to address this parking lot, so we really need to figure out how much we're gonna need to.
Speaking of one, I could get, maybe for the April meeting or something, I can get him out here shortly, but John Drakowitz, your bond counsel, was a great guy. Been your bond counsel forever. He has no problem at all, and he doesn't charge you guys or anything. He'd come out, sit down, go over everything. Because the nice thing he can tell you is, it's not just, well, how much, but he can tell you how your debt is scheduled to drop off so that you can slide it in and not affect your tax rate, really. You know what I mean? So, if you have this parking lot, some other road projects that you could get up to an amount that would make some sense to do a bond. Because don't forget, Steve, you don't even have to make that a formal bond. You can always just issue bond anticipation notes for a while.
Right.
But I think he might be useful to come out and see you guys, and that you could do before or after your budget's done, probably. I think. You could always you can do a bond ordinance any time of the year.
Right.
So if you get John out here and he and Lorraine could really punch that for you. And
What's our current debt?
see what your debt service is.
We're pretty low percentage, they
Yeah.
have debt schedules, if you want to see amortization schedules,
Yeah.
just to see how it drops off.
Yeah.
We don't have a drop coming up in the next 5 years.
Right.
We're not going to bond for anything less than $1 million, because soft costs.
Well, he would probably actually recommend that you bond for, John was just out of the township, he would say stay under the million, but once you get over $1 million, the costs, are excessive.
Well, I was gonna say, we have to go out for referendum too, don't we, if it's over a certain dollar amount?
That's right. My point is, Steve, that, like you said, in terms of taking your time, you could.
You have to look in the long run, what's cheaper, and cheaper is probably just to deal with the taxes and not worry about the bonding. Am I right or wrong? You have to look in the long run.
Yeah.
We've been using pay-as-you-go financing, so if your budget was 10, you're for capital. If you don't have the money this year, the budget will be for capital, and next year you could be stuck in some worse situation, if you have a debt payment plus.
Right.
What you're missing.
Right. I would be in favor of doing a little something to try to just get this done. Give the road department something for the road repair and put something aside for this parking lot and then work on getting some estimates from different contractors. You guys are just gonna have to decide how much you wanna go.
Some of the parking lot
Right, yeah, it was 130 something, yeah.
If you added in another 2 cents for the parking lot, that would give you right around 70,000.
What's that put it at the net then?
Not a huge increase. Except for our backside.
The 2-cent increase was 1.79%.
I think we have quite a bit capped bank.
No, we have a lot of cap bank, I think.
For our appropriations.
Levy cap bank, there's a levy cap bank too.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, which I think last time I checked, that was pretty cool.
What was it last year? Yeah. Wasn't it 4? 3? 3? I think it's 30 something.
How long will it take for these fuel prices to stay
That's what I thought. Yeah, I think it was 4.5.
I've been for a while. Absolutely, yes.
4.5. No, I think they did already, didn't they? Do it again?
And this,
But that's the problem, is last year we cut non-reoccurring expenditures, and this year, same thing. So you can't continue to do that. Yeah, you need a correction. The correction is eliminate reoccurring costs.
we're actually discussing here real quick, as a sidebar, we might have some considerable savings at the end of the year too. If we went to 4 cents, and we might have a lot left over with fuel costs and fuel is down, fuel oil is down. The winter is in effect over, we probably won't be spending any more money on salt. So we might end up with some kind of surplus at the end of the year.
Paul said there's snow on Monday.
Yeah, so that,
Whatever, it won't last long. So what we were talking about is 4 cents, and then, you know, even though that really won't cover everything we want to do, it actually might at the end of the year.
So wherever that would get us.
Yeah.
wherever 4 cents would get us,
Yeah.
maybe you're accepting the 4 cents as well.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, on the average house at .019, it's gonna net $33 on the average house. 4 cents would be, right,
That would be just a little $5 a month.
$5 a month, yeah.
I mean, we have the final payout for this building litigation settlement that's in the budget somewhere. We're going
Yeah,
to pay
there's-
that this year, right?
That'd be part of
At some point, this is going to, I would say.
it's still not done though. from
I know,
my
but by
understanding.
summer, there's going to be at some point.
I would hope so.
Once our architect signs off, there's going to be the last chunk of that settlement. If you need that specific number, I can send it to you again, but, okay. I want to say it's like 60.
I don't think you're close to that.
I would think there's something in there, Lauren, right under building, I'm pretty sure there was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I told her to keep something in there,
I
yeah.
also, again, I had mentioned to you guys a couple of times, whether or not I felt we would have to do possible appraisals for this Raymore Planning and Litigation, which is into its 4th or 5th year at this point. It's another one. There was Ben Murdoch went to the court appearance today, so I haven't had a chance to speak with him. But my understanding is they have a 44,000 case backlog right now, tax court. 44,000. So, as much as I'd love to move those things, I don't see that happening this year again. So, I don't know if there's anything in the budget for, you know, from a litigation standpoint, in terms of, okay. Because bottom line is, I don't think we're going to get to the point where we need to spend several thousand on appraisal because the court's so bad.
We do have a judgment line, so I guess close to the end of the year.
Okay.
It looks like we may go
Right.
over that.
Okay.
Mayor, would you be on board with that?
Real quick, what's your thought on it?
I'm not crazy about it. I wish we had numbers that were more firm than working on a lot of ifs. I can't totally commit right now.
Well, I think we have to look at it before we can commit to it. I mean, first, in all the budgets I saw, I don't think anyone should be getting raises except the court. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about contractual things, but that would be my suggestion, is that whatever, the court did put in raise, but there was increased work, and I find that appropriate and acceptable, and considering that they may even get more work with another municipality, I think that's an appropriate justification for an increase. Overall, with the budget, I'm not comfortable with, like I was last year, unless there's some type of reoccurring cost, be it through staffing reductions or some type of service being shared. That's why I had my number at where I was comfortable with, and then moving numbers around with there. So that's where I am on it. Unequivocally, that's where I stand. I don't know where Sal stands. And obviously, I think you still need to see your numbers.
Yeah, it's not something I would just jump into.
However, I think if you were to produce something, we could probably discuss it further. And, it needs 3 votes, so that's what I would.
Does anybody else want me to remove all but court salary and wages?
My only issue with that, and I think we discussed this briefly last time, if you look at our township in terms of employees, okay, the DPW is contractual, police department is contractual, they're both getting contractual raises. If you then throw the core personnel in there for a raise, basically at that point, as a committee, and I was asked this last time, so that's why I'm opining on it, but at that point, really, the only people not getting a raise overwhelmingly are your statutory positions, being 2 that are here, Lorraine, Wanda, your tax collector, your tax assessor.
And your senior clerk typist.
Well, those 2 are not statutory, but I'm saying those 4 positions, we've been down this path before. It's just not worth, further litigation at just out-of-pocket costs that you're wasting that could be going to paying the salaries. So I really think.
Well, I don't think that was.
The court, I think really you're going to have to do equivalent raises to at least the 4 statutory, which leaves you really your sole discretion being.
But that was not the reason for any litigation, was raises. That was not, it was a change of holiday schedule. It was used in it.
Well, it was a count in the litigation that we never really got to, but it was actually pled as a count.
And keep in mind, in this budget, the clerk is actually getting $1,000 or so less a year. She's getting promoted, in fact, than what she got last year.
Because of the
You took a thing away from her, yeah. So
Okay.
she's getting less money this year now than she'll get last year.
Is that title thing or something?
And another position in here, which I just told Jim, is the person getting, as Frank Becker pointed out last fall, a 20% raise, which I guess Jim is saying that he doesn't want that 20% raise, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm saying, the only people I think who should be getting the raises are the court staff.
Well,
but I hear what you're saying.
Who's getting a 20%
I'm just,
raise?
I'm
Well,
not
at the
trying
very
to.
least, then you should leave everybody, if you left all the other statutory ones alone, at least Wanda would be getting what she got last year, instead of the new budget where she's getting less than she got
Well,
last year.
that's not based on her being a clerk, is it?
I think, and again, you can do 2 things to double check my opinion, okay? You're welcome to check with our TiVo and/or check, I'm sure, our prior litigation.
If I call our Tebow, it'll cost more.
Well, that's true. Here's my concern. The one case that we were all grappling with last time was essentially, it's not just statutory, and I'm not just pointing any fingers at Wanda or anybody, I'm just saying across the board for the statutory employees. At most of the cases deal with collectors and other positions other than the clerk. But for all 4 statutory employees, they look at their complete benefit package. The statute talks about not, giving them raises in terms of salary. The most recent case all talks about their whole entire compensation package. You can't cut, you basically cannot touch their compensation negatively. And so that's why I would have a concern, A, with taking away a salary for a position they've always had. I think that's a concern. for any of these four positions. If they're wearing a dual hat, what I'm basically telling you guys, is statutorily, they don't give you guys discretion to really get more efficient or get tighter with your statutory employees. They're protected. I think the basis of that is because they want to avoid any undue pressure on those positions because of their perceived importance, and I think our importance.
Litigation will cost us a lot more than.
So, yeah, I'm just saying, I think for all four, they should get some form of raise at this point to match what everybody else gets. I think you could have a problem defending giving them no raise. And I think you could also have a problem taking away any particular hats from any of them. If it ends up in a net salary reduction, you're going to have a problem, is really what I think.
Well, my question,
think a court
but
would
my
say-
question was, the thing that was taken away,
Right.
could anybody have done that job? And was it necessary the clerk was the only person who could do that job?
Here's my position on that, Mary. I think the way the cases are set up, if you were to hire a new person, when a statutory employee resigns or retires or what have you, when you're resetting the position, at that point, you can, change
But you're
job
not answering
descriptions.
my question.
What's that?
My
I don't know if somebody else can do it or not. The fact is, if somebody else hasn't been
That's
doing
what,
it,
I understand that, but the
That's the
fact that
problem.
somebody else hasn't been doing it doesn't make it part of officially of the clerk's job. You understand?
I
what
understand
I'm
that.
saying-
He's saying you can't
It's part
reduce
of
their
the
total
compensation.
compensation, so,
Right.
yes, to answer your question, you cannot lower their compensation regardless if it has to do with the official
Even if their
title.
work is
Yep.
taken away from them.
For example, in
Right.
Lopakong Township,
They
they
have
took
to-
away the administrator position, they changed it. She voluntarily reduced her salary because they couldn't
She's not
take,
statutory.
yeah, but, no, but she, but she voluntarily gave that up because
Right.
technically she could have held on to it because she, yeah, so it'd be a voluntary thing.
Right. So, again,
I understand that, but
So I don't get.
we had a round of this 2 or 3 years ago, and I just don't want to see us repeat the same
Can
mistake.
I make a
No
point,
difference.
and Dave and I are on the same page? We're fine if nobody gets any raises.
That's up to
We're
your
fine. We're
fine.
fine with that, as long as they still get at least what they got last year.
That's what
Not
I'm
less
saying,
than
that's what I'm
last year.
saying legally. With the four
So
statutories,
if
they
they don't
can't
get raises, fine. If you say that could open us up to litigation,
That's what I'm saying.
then we have to weigh the cost of litigation versus the cost of the raises, which are only a few thousand.
I'm saying two things. I'm saying, one, I think you have to look at each statutory employee's total compensation as a package, not just what hat they had. So you can't, no matter what you do, as far as, you can certainly take jobs away from them, but you still wouldn't be able to take the compensation away. I went with that.
No, we're okay with
So
that.
that's that. That's one thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is, in terms of raises, again, I'm not trying to set policy for you guys. I realize you're the elected official, but just legally speaking, what I'm saying is, if you give no raises to anybody but contractuals, you might be able to get away with that. Been doing that for years.
Well, the road department took 0%.
right, we just negotiated
Okay.
the first year of their
So-
contract,
so-
they took a pay
But what I'm
freeze.
saying is, if you're gonna go zero, you gotta go zero. If you trickle out beyond the contractuals and get selective raises
Yeah, I
outside
ain't
of
in favor of
that,
that.
you're gonna have to give the statutories that raise. That, the case law is clear on that.
But in terms of increasing the workload, though, that's a justification for increasing someone's pay.
And that's asinine. If a department took on significantly more work and then we have to pay someone just because the other people are working hard, or not hard, but more work has come in, it just doesn't make sense. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. You have to do it regardless.
Yeah, I just think it'd be a concern,
I think that's ridiculous.
I'm not justifying the
There's a lot of
statute, but
ridiculous.
I'm not saying it isn't. There's a lot of ridiculous laws, but
Yeah, we can't fix that here. so-
Yeah, exactly, that's not our job.
No, but I'm not gonna.
And unfortunately, we have to pay for it. The state makes rules that we have to pay for.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
And there's nothing we can really do about that.
No, not at all.
Not much different.
I'm gonna see some of them tomorrow night.
Good luck with that.
What's tomorrow night?
I have a county board of ag meeting that the legislators all attend.
Well, I think, Lorraine, what you have to do is get it, just itemized everything that was discussed so everyone can look at it, and then
Okay, so the end result is statutory, the four statutory stay the same, reinstate tax search, and only the court increase, no other employee
If you can print one out, Sal and I are supposed to have a meeting on Thursday, I can make sure that he has a copy I'll swing by
And
here
he
to
understands
hand
it.
it to him.
Yeah, he's gonna need somebody to go over.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, no question.
And I will not be here. I will begin with that.
Chief said he's okay to be
Okay. All right, so that's where we're at there. Resolution. Juan, did we just take this by title to self?
Yes.
The two of them,
What's the other one?
to refund escrow balances.
Oh, there's a separate one. Wow, okay.
Two resolutions.
Okay, is there a motion for
I
them?
move we pass the two resolutions that are on our agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Clark?
Yes.
Vandeloop? Yes. Kern?
Yes. No ordinances, motions, we need to add two, to accept the resignation of Ingrid Gray. Guess we gotta put that one first, right, Wanda? And then to approve Mike Zombas in that role, and I believe it's 2017. Does anyone have an issue taking them all together?
Take them all together.
We'll take them
Okay.
all together. I move we take, however many there are.
All of them.
Oh.
Any?
There's a dozen.
All of them. There you go.
Second.
Okay. so
Hey, wait, I moved it.
Second.
Vandeloop?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes, and Wendy, can you make the things for the yard sale and everything? Even though we're gonna transition in the interim, thank you. Okay. General public comment, is there any public comment? Judy, I called on him I'm sorry.
Dick Hernandez, here, One River Road. I have a question for the attorney. Kevin, the question has to do with who has jurisdiction over the Delaware River. If a town resident sees an activity, potentially environmental damage that could affect the Delaware River, which agency should be called on that? Is that EPA? Is that a federal issue, or is that, because my impression is that the DEP does not regulate the Delaware River.
You know, frankly, it may depend actually on the part of the river. I mean, there's parts of that river that I think are under the jurisdiction of the Park Service, that'd be up further north, right where we are here in Bohacon Township. You know, I think the DEP is in fact contracted with the federal government to be the enforcement agency, so I think it still would be the DEP, but it's basically, that river is basically under federal jurisdiction. You would need, by way of example, when Phillips was trying to expand their sewer plant and to, put further discharges into the river, they needed federal permits. So, I mean, I don't know who would be out. I mean, theoretically, that's a navigable waterway, and that would be the Coast Guard. I mean, there is Coast Guard stuff down at the bottom part of it, actually. It just doesn't come up this far.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what exactly you're talking about in terms of what activity, you mean pollution type activity?
Right. This was railroad ties that the railroad company took out, and instead of removing them and taking them off-site, they dumped them down the bank.
I can try to find out a more
Sure.
specific answer, but I think that's federal authority. I just don't know whether they delegate it. A lot of times they'll sub-delegate that back to the state, but I'll find out for you.
Okay, all right, so then I can answer that question that was addressed to me.
I can-
The second comment I have to make, and this is a tough time to make this comment because of the budgetary constraints, is that I think that we need a professional management in the town. I think you, the elected officials, essentially are doing volunteer work. You're elected to make policy, but you're not in a position to actually make sure that that policy gets implemented. Many of you have full-time jobs, have other activities to do. And I think we should seriously consider having a town executive or town manager that would work part-time, that perhaps could self-fund through the ability to write grants. And that person would increase the efficiency of the functioning of the town, but also make sure that things are done properly. My experience the last few weeks dealing with town officials have found that one part of the township wasn't talking to another part, there was guesswork being involved instead of actual knowledge. And so I think that it's something that we should seriously consider. I'm not sure how much it would cost, and it's an idea that I think is worth exploring. I don't have any more specifics than that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I was confused. Can you tell me why the community items, that was in the motion? As far as I haven't put down,
You want to speak to that? Want to speak to that, Lorraine, Phoenix?
Phoenix Advisories is a secondary market disclosure company. What they do is they monitor our debt issuances and make sure that we release all the appropriate information that we're required from our office to list when we have on.
It's regulatory compliance. I think it's mostly Dodd-Frank regulatory compliance, because we issue debt. There's now a whole series of public offering statement type of disclosures we have to file that we did not used to have to file. This company does that for us.
And how much do you actually pay per year? That's per year.
Right.
Plus $100 additional outstanding issue, which we don't know.
There aren't any.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Dave Supon, Fire Chief of Huntington Fire Company. I'd like to bring something of a safety issue right by our firehouse. Mayor and Mary, I don't know if you'll remember, but a couple years ago when we did the presentation of the Fred McCorkle sign, I briefly brought this up because as we were trying to take pictures there, you could notice the cars flying around the corner from the bridge to Maple Avenue. Somebody's going to get killed there, especially when there's football games going on. I've done my own research with the Rec Association trying to find out if it's even possible to have the football games at the school, and they said that's a whole different roadblock that they cannot get past, which is fine. We do our best at the fire company to cone off that intersection to slow people down, put cones right in the middle of the crosswalk to slow cars down. I believe it was told to me that day by you, Mayor, you weren't sure whose property that is right off of the bridge, because I had suggested adding just a straight curb coming off of that bridge to make it a 90-degree intersection like every other intersection in town. Because right now they go around that corner like it's the third turn at Pocono. It's, I guess, a question then is, can that be looked into to find out, A, whose property that is, whose responsibility it would be if we did have a possible project of extending a curb or an island or something?
Would that be the county? Since it's a bridge right there and it goes, how does that?
And I thought Glenn was involved in that too. I thought we already did.
Oh, we did something on that too, and certainly all the bridges, with just a very few couple exceptions, some of which are actually in this township, are actually owned by the county, so I'm assuming that.
Except for the ones we had to fix.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, we tried to bluff them out of that, but it didn't work, but.
It just seemed unclear of, I don't know if there's a right-of-way or what the proper verbiage is, but a certain amount of feet off of each side of the bridge belongs to whoever owns the bridge versus the town, or...
We can follow up with Gwen and find out the exact ownership, and then that'll determine if it's ours, then that's something we have to, think about funding. If it's the county, that's something we could ask them to do.
Wasn't the bridge
But-
commission involved somewhere?
Not with that bridge.
Okay.
Not with that one. But I
It
think,
really is a very dangerous curve. I mean, they even come onto the firehouse driveway area sometimes, they come around so fast.
I think in the interim, though, we have to address it. And I'm looking right
Chief.
at our guy.
We could put a car out there, but
That only works
that's
as
a
long
big
as it's.
township. I mean, a lot of times we have one guy on the road.
Hey,
Any
Does
cars
it
that
don't
don't
we have
run?
dummy cars we
Yeah,
can park
park-
with a dummy in it?
Yes, then we get to like,
Not if you do it by the, I think the firehouse, though, I don't think, oh, God, that's an act of God if you could get that done. I think if you could park, if,
I could park a car out there, we actually do have a dummy that we.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even put the dummy in it.
no, put a
No,
dummy in it.
if you put the dummy in it, then they realize there's nothing in there. They could think the officer is somewhere else.
No, well, they just see something sitting in it, they don't know, because they're going too fast.
Yeah, those people go through there every day. They'll see a car sitting there every day with a,
Empty car, they'll just say it's an
Yeah.
empty car.
Yeah, if you, in the interim, we'll do that, but we'll reach out to find out who owns that property, and we'll make sure to keep you informed, because that's a good idea to figure out how we can at least curb it off.
Even if, I mean, an empty car is kind of a temporary fix, even if a secondary temporary fix could be just leaving one of the, a horse coming off of the bridge with a cone at the end of it, just to make it an obstacle for them to get around, because then they gotta slow down.
Or even the
That's what
sign,
we do with the cones, whenever we're out there, we make it a 90-degree turn with the cones. And it makes them slow down, they have to.
Is there enough room for a speed sign out there? I know it's only temporary, but.
It's kind of, I mean, if it were in our lot where the active firemen park, but it would be right off of the bridge.
Did you ever check into the liability of putting cones and things out there if somebody had an accident?
well, I mean, it would be, they'd be liable either way. I mean, if you put the
But did they
cone,
make the fire company be liable?
County right away.
well, they do it now anyway, so it's
But
not,
I'm saying that, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to prevent somebody suing.
And I'm trying to prevent a kid from getting killed, which I think is more important. So if they do want to sue us, then so be it. But
yeah, they're gonna sue you anyway, so,
my
yeah.
goal is, something's got to be done with that corner. It has gone on quite a while. I have done some background research, like I said, with the sporting staff, to see if there are other optional fields they could use. And that's just on football day. I mean, there's other events that happen down there that,
Is there enough room for Jersey barrier down there, Chief? Just to put some Jersey barrier right there? Like you said, using cones, could you?
that would work. I mean, as a
My
sure.
thought, I was just talking to Dave. I mean,
Jersey barrier.
I think that road is definitely ours. It's a question of where our jurisdiction stops, and maybe the county bridge right away
You know what
starts.
the problem with that is? You might get the DEP in there or whatever. I remember we put up fence around one of those parks, and they came in, they made.
Yeah, well, that was-
Because it blocked water.
Water from
flood
getting-
stage.
Right, but that's my thought with the Jersey barrier. It is portable.
That would do the same
So,
thing.
At least for football season particularly, if somebody bitches about it, we could move it.
Put them there.
Just put them there,
Put 'em
right,
there.
right, that's what I'm
And-
saying,
and
if somebody
that's it.
yells and somebody claims jurisdiction and they can establish that, then we can move them, but I don't see any problem with that. I mean, if you're using cones,
That'd
that's
be
a
the
hell of a lot
cheapest
better
way
than
to
some
go.
cones, it's cheaper
Cheapest
and
easiest.
they're movable.
Right, and they're movable. So why don't we put
do
some
that?
potholes in? Actually, put
Yeah,
potholes in.
make
So we
some,
have Jersey barrier out there?
I don't.
Fine, couple
We
pieces?
don't have any Jersey barriers, or we do?
Probably only, how many do you need over there? Well, maybe, that's what I would suggest, guys.
Do it. A couple probably.
yeah, a couple would handle
Just
it.
trying to make that right.
All right, so do I have permission, chief or whatever, to go down there with the DPW and look and see where we might place a couple?
In the interim, if we get a car down there.
Out there as much as necessary.
No, park the empty car down there.
I'll meet you guys one morning and we'll go down there.
Okay.
All
Can
right,
you guys
done.
lift Jersey barriers with a payloader, Jeff, or not?
Big one you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8-footers or 10-footers, or?
ones we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come off the job down on River Road.
Right, right.
Oh, okay.
Thank you on that. I have two other things. I don't even know if it's more directed towards our town attorney. Does the fire company have the right/ability to send a letter to a homeowner about cutting trees back along their driveway?
The adjacent property owner to the
There's a
fire-
property the property that's the small vineyard by the culvert, Mary, do you know, to the left as you're coming up to 614?
Okay, oh, to the left, yeah, that's Vandas's property.
That driveway, the trees have done this, basically, maybe at 7 foot high. I can't get a pumper down that driveway.
Listen, my view on that is you can't formally demand they do it.
No,
Nice
but-
letter to them saying, hey, guys, you know,
If something happens,
or
this
something,
is
we're not
what's
going to
gonna-
get down there, we'd ask you to cut it back. There's no issue with doing that, chief, at all.
I just want to make sure that I'm
Yeah,
allowed to do that. I mean,
Doing them a public
I
service.
frankly don't want to destroy a
Right.
$525,000 truck.
Yeah.
Demand that they do it, but
Right.
you tell them the safety issue and that you can't.
He's a pretty reasonable guy, too.
Yeah.
Okay. We have had alarms there before, and obviously pulling up, we don't see any flame, smoke, nothing like that. The big trucks stay out on the road until we can assess what's going on, and usually it's just the alarm going off.
Done.
When I was fire chief in the early 90s, I had the same problem, and I just went around and looked at the driveways and sent each president a letter stating that, they had a problem out there, it would be a large equipment, and it would slow down the response time. And of the letters I sent out, probably 90% of them took care of it, so.
That's good.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. I didn't know legally if I was allowed to do that.
Well, you're a volunteer group providing an important service, and then you just approach it that way, saying, hey, we're trying to help you, but we're not going to be able to. If you kind of trim them back, you know, and then if that's still, if there's anybody who, for some goofy reason, wouldn't respond and do something about that letter, you can let us know. If we'll send a letter saying, hey, don't look to the township or the, you know.
Okay.
You're not going to help out the volunteer department, okay, something like that, but you can take the first shot at it.
Okay. And last one real quick, Mr. Benbrook. The hazmat team of the county does this, and I think it would behoove us to look into a possible way to do this. As we respond to incidents on 78, a lot of times we're involved with tractor trailers of a commercial status. If we happen to have to use foam, sometimes it's quite a large amount of foam. I could dig up our old receipts, but I know back when we first got our first pumper with the foam on it, a 55-gallon drum was $400. I recently purchased one later on, like maybe September, October this past year. It's gone up to $1,000 for a 55-gallon drum, as well as our hazmat materials like booms and speedy dry, stuff like that.
There's ordinances out there, there's a statute out there on that, but I think when we looked at that before, Chief, under Chief Sickles, we did talk about, I think what we concluded was statute only, because you guys are basically, you're not technically an arm of the township, you're a volunteer organization, you're a separate 501c3, you know, we're certainly interrelated, but you're not officially part of the township. So for those municipalities and towns and cities and things that have paid departments, they can absolutely get that reimbursement. I guess the only way I could think around that is if you guys were to invoice us somehow, and we sent it out ourselves, perhaps, and considered it part of what we...
Well, have they ever billed the insurance companies for that?
We've never been allowed to.
What if they just did it? What if the insurance companies would pay it?
A lot of times, if it's like a spill type incident and we're not using foam, we work through the chief of hazmat, Tom Nigro, and he'll just ask us, what did we use?
Gotcha.
He puts it on his report, he does the billing, and then he just gives us the materials that we used back. But I know the foam is not gonna, it's obviously going up and will continue to go up, and
But it's not something you can tell him that you used it and he would replace it?
foam, no.
Go ahead, Donna, yeah.
If you go through the Office of Emergency Management,
That's an idea, yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. I was thinking if you build us for that stuff, right, that's what I was kind of getting at, yeah.
and you have a
Township entity. Right, that's a good idea. Yeah,
Very good.
perfect.
Thank you.
I'll revisit that
Good.
ordinance, so in case we need to have some type of statutory authority for that. But
Okay, does anyone else have any public comment?
Hi, Dominic Adjusta, Mountain Road. We're trying to remember, and forgive us for having a little difficulty. Several months ago, there was a discussion at a previous council meeting, some organization working with the state that we were going to enlist their services to come to the township to evaluate the operations of the township and suggest
Right now.
that's...
Still going on, yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep. Any other public comment? Seeing none, is there any new business, old business?
I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Oh,
Um, 3 or 4 people, and I think somebody complained to the clerk's office too. There's several people in town that have mountains.
Garbage.
Yeah, well, for example, the Indian across the street from Sal's,
yeah.
Ken Huff in Pinesville, who our zoning guy let him build a 4-car garage in his backyard, right on the property line. I don't know if that's legal or not. So that he could put his, quote unquote, put his stuff in the garage, and now I see stuff in the garage and nothing coming out of
Just
the
more
yard.
stuff.
It's just more stuff. I guess, Kevin, my question to you is, I know we have a property maintenance ordinance and all that. What kind of, some of these places look really horrible. I mean,
Mr. Rossi has taken him to court a couple of times.
with him who?
Both of them.
Oh, yeah,
Both of
the
them.
Huff is gone.
Okay, and what's happened?
The judge orders them to clean up, they make an attempt, and then in a little while.
The guy in Warren Glen, must have 3 tractor trailer loads of crap in his yard.
the guy that had all the newspapers in the house that we went to court with years ago?
He's got a TP in the front.
We could meet with the prosecutor.
You know,
Joe takes him back.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and these people aren't doing anything, the judge is not really slapping their wrist hard enough or
Is
whatever.
any of this Board of Health type stuff?
It could be fire department stuff. I mean, when you got mountains of garbage in your
Oh, do
yard.
you have lots of rats and things?
There's a house, for
That's
example,
health
there's a house on
department.
the corner of Cemetery Road and 627, that the windows are now boarded up, and the whole front yard is loaded with bags of household garbage.
I would
So-
think that would tend to get on Board of Health.
I guess that's a Board of Health thing, but, so where do we go? What do we do with,
Can we write a letter to our own municipal?
The municipal process, the municipal court, you can only get a fine, you can require a cleanup, and then get another fine, and it just never seems to go anywhere.
If they don't pay
It
it.
never works.
The only time it's ever got anything done is when we went up to the Superior Court and got an order for lien on the property, and we ultimately got paid back. But the problem with that is, you guys are just doing a budget, you might end up going out of pocket
It's
before
a
you
lot,
get paid
it's a lot of
back.
money, I
So
know.
that's the only problem.
Well, what if they don't comply with, like, they keep getting hit with the fine, and eventually, I think it's like $5,000. If they don't pay it, can't you technically arrest them? I mean, doesn't it get to that point where there's a warrant if they don't pay the,
I think we should maybe try to work through the property maintenance ordinance.
that's what it is. I mean, if we
Yeah.
take them to court, because they've gone and they get the slap, they gotta go back again and then
Right.
if they don't pay the money, then that's
And then the next question is, what does it cost us as a town to bring all these people to court all the time?
Well, I don't know what the zoning officer, probably just the zoning officer, prosecutor's
It
part
doesn't
of Class
cost them
B.
extra.
so it
Well,
doesn't cost
with
anything.
Greenwich, it gives, well, the court, I think, is constant, there's always a court date, so I think his hours coincide with, I think he works Thursdays now, right? Is that,
I believe so.
yeah, so the court's Thursday, so he's already here, so.
I mean, I can go look at a couple of these with you, Steve. We'll do what we did
I'll get
last
you
time.
pictures too.
Yeah, we'll do, I think we should do.
Yeah, but you need to be a fall.
Certified, maybe we should put certified letter saying, look, we're gonna give you X days to clean up before, and if you guys, if they're really bad, I think it's a very, really won't cost you much legals or filing fees. You'll just go up to the court, get it under an order to show cause, and the Superior Court judge can actually issue, which the municipal court can't, can issue an injunction saying, you will clean up by X date, or we can clean up, put it on as a lien, get a couple dumpsters out there, and We've done that before, and it does work.
Yeah.
And you can strike off as a lien, sell the tax.
Okay, so what would we do then first? What's the first?
I'd say a letter first, which I'll probably ignore, but it's nice to show the judge that at least you tried.
Who does the letter come from?
So the letter goes to that property.
From you.
Let's go to- Yeah, you and I will get the letters
Okay.
out,
I'll get the addresses and names.
get some pictures and all that.
Certified letter.
Yeah.
Certified, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Now, the abandoned ones, if they're bank foreclosures, we might be able to strong arm the banks under this abandoned.
We just got a
property.
whole list on that,
Right,
another
so
list.
we are,
There's a house in Warren Glen with a tarp on the roof, I don't think anybody lives in it, the tarp's blowing off, it's full of holes.
Oh, that's the one we just, that was the one going. That's
Yeah,
the
is
one
that
we
right?
just got
Yeah.
and on those properties, if we don't know, I can ask my title guy to do, just do a real
Yeah.
quick, it doesn't cost anything, but just to see if there's a foreclosure filed, I can.
The police have been doing it for us too, they look up the address and who owns
That's the one with
it.
Souders, you're working on the
Yeah.
Souders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about, the park.
Yeah, this other one is fairly,
Well, he's just
it's more recent.
Right.
Jeff, you know the house I mean on the corner of Cemetery Road with the windows are now boarded up and his house is in garbage in the backyard and the front yard?
But Jeff wouldn't have access to whether there's been a foreclosure complaint filed. It's
No,
supposed to be
no.
filed with us, but.
I think that house is a rental house.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's the last I heard, it was a divorce and they were gonna rent it out and the renters
I'll wait
reporters.
for you.
Yeah,
Oh, and
we
then
need to do that.
you need to get, I don't know if a letter was sent to Alpha
About the
Sewer.
Lorraine's got the number, $700 some dollars. $735, I think.
Okay.
Resend them just in
We can
case.
swap emails. My emails are working with you guys now, by the way.
I haven't got an email. You do it in a month. Have you sent them? I haven't got an email.
.org, township.org.
No, he's auto, he's.
Yeah, I'm not a township.org.
Okay.
All right, are we done discussing? I'll move
Yes,
the
ma'am.
adjourn.
Before you do that, do you want the levy and, appropriations?
You figured them out already, or?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
For the levy cap from the proposed budget from the mayor, so this is going to be a little different. We had $519,000 bill. None of your wildest increases came close to that, so it should be high. And for our expenditure cap, our expenditure cap, we had $740,000. You're all the way out.
Thank you.
Okay, and now I move we adjourn?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Good, relaxing. Different way of life down there, though, still laid back and, yeah. Yeah, they,